So moving forward, what needs to happen and what is your vision?
What needs to happen is that the state and the federal governments need to embrace this land bank movement. Ohio is not the only state to have a land bank, and we've been talking to our neighboring states. The issues that we have with vacant, abandoned residential and commercial property are the same, if not greater, in Michigan, Pennsylvania, New York, Indiana. And so we're looking for more funding streams to keep our momentum going. When you can say that people in Mahoning County have noticed the difference that that last demolition program makes, then you know that that's a big thing, right? Because change is not easily perceived, and it's often something that people don't want. But we certainly do have momentum going in Ohio, and we can't afford to lose it. But federal and state governments need to look at this as a priority. We probably have 100 million square feet of vacant, abandoned commercial property around the state of Ohio. And if you think about what it would cost to tear all of that down, and that a lot of it is going to have environmental issues that will need to be remediated, and the costs associated with that, we're talking about $1 billion problem only in Ohio. So there's something that the state legislature can do about that, and that is to commit to a continued funding stream for land banks. They gave us a one-time shot with a reimbursement award a couple years back, but we need something that's dedicated to this work. Vacant, abandoned properties do not heal themselves, and land banks are a great way to get in there. And let's not leave it to be demolition only. Let's get in sooner rather than later so that revitalization can mean building up, not only tearing down.
So are you advocating for a specific revenue stream coming from some specific legislation?
There was a bill that was in before the legislature last year that would have created a $50 million revolving fund so that land banks could apply, and it would have been on a competitive basis. But it would have renewed over time. And we would love to see that happen again. And if it cannot happen with the funding stream that before was diverted to help with COVID relief, then certainly there has to be another funding stream available, because all of the impacts around this are too great for the state to let this moment pass by. And COVID only amplifies the need right now. Same is true, we've had a change of administration at the federal level, and so maybe we fit in with an infrastructure bill. Maybe we fit in with COVID relief, because when you think about the many ways in which land banks can be a partner, affordable housing is a huge issue right now. We can do something about that. Environmental health. When was the last time environmental health was such a big issue in our communities? But it is right now. We can do something about that too, with the removal of bad properties and the way that we beautify them to add something to public health. Economic opportunity, rebuilding, the businesses that we know are being lost. But some of those businesses are still essential, and we need for those essential services to continue. Well, there are ways that we can help with that too. We're encouraged that Marcia Fudge is on her way to being the next leader of the Housing and Urban Development Department at the federal level, an Ohio person. There's a great opportunity there to see something, a commitment, not a one-time deal, but a commitment out of both federal and state governments to keep this momentum going at a critical time.
We had joked earlier, I think, that if you were to do a TED Talk, it would be on traction. That's kind of your buzzword.
It is.
Tell me about that.
I talk about traction out of the perspective of, I've kind of had to do this a couple times in my life. I did it with the COG, and even before that, when I was at the Vindicator, the life of a reporter is somewhat independent because you have to meet deadlines every day. And when I was first at the Vindicator, we had 5 deadlines every day because we had 5 editions. You have to keep track of your stories, and you were expected to have daily copy, Sunday copy. 10 of the 17 years I spent at the Vindicator, I was the entertainment editor. And in that time, we went from having a couple inside pages in sections to a standalone entertainment guide on Thursdays. and it had a calendar, and it had other features to it. And I had to see to it that all of those things were moving to, again, meet the regular deadline, the weekly deadline for that. So I think that some of my Vindicator experiences and my reporting experiences have fed into this whole idea of how do you get traction. Some of it is pure sweat. Some of it is being organized. I'm not the most organized person in the world, but I've picked up a few things along the way. Some of it's tenacity that you have to do. And then it also has to do with who do you collaborate with. I did have support at the Vindicator. I had editors to guide me. I had composition clerks who could do some data entry for me. I wasn't alone in compiling those calendars in the entertainment guide. But there's always a collaborator or two or five along the way, and you have to identify them, and you have to exchange ideas and draw energy from them if you're ever going to achieve traction. If you're trying to do it all alone, it's not going to work. I don't think that we would be operating the way that we do right now were it not for YNDC and the many things that they've done in the community and the way that they have validated the existence of the land bank and what we can do that adds value to what they do. So I have known how to work independently in my career, and I have learned how to rely on other people. And so that's part of my traction conversation with those smaller land banks. Okay, so you don't have a planning department in the city, but you do have a university connection, right? Do you have somebody at the university? Can you employ some students, or can you go to a professor who maybe makes a research project out of something and uses student help in order to meet your needs when you say you need data and you don't have it? There are a lot of ways to do it, and so I offer what I can in the way of do this, do that, don't do it on your own. It's never going to work alone. YNDC wouldn't work alone either, and Ian would say that too. Everybody needs a good collaborator, and now's the time to take that seriously.
We've talked about your partnership with Western Reserve Port Authority, with YNDC. You're also partnering with Rotary. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So I joined the Rotary Club of Youngstown about 5 years ago, and it is a great opportunity to network with people and to collaborate again. And so the first collaboration came around little free libraries, those small boxes that hold books and people can help themselves, they can donate, they can take. We started to incorporate little free libraries in some of our vacant lot reuse strategies. Now we're on to something called Operation Pollination. Rotary has designated certain causes as being essential to all Rotary functions. And so the newest priority for Rotary International is environmental needs. We are doing that through trying to promote the need for more pollinating plants in the area, because we know the ramifications better now of losing pollination. It affects our food supply, it affects our environmental health, it affects our physical health. And so Rotary wants to promote what is happening in the way of using pollinating plants here and to expand it. And as a property owner, Mahoning County Land Bank relishes this opportunity. We have about 2,400 or more properties in our inventory right now. The idea of trying to maintain all of them like we would our own lawns is not sustainable. And so by working with Rotary and many other partners, Mill Creek Park and Mahoning County Soil and Water District, and just many, many partners are coming forward now, we're going to beautify some properties in very meaningful ways, and it will also be connected to the greening guide that Mahoning County Land Bank just released on Valentine's Day, which is written exclusively about native perennial plants and how they benefit our conditions here and how they are long-lasting, beautiful, and will attract pollinators. So it's a great opportunity, a great partnership, and we will have some demonstrations of how this looks in the year ahead. And I think we'll be at this for several years, but we are committed to having some demonstrations planted this summer so that people will, again, as they're driving through neighborhoods, they'll see yet another change, and we'll have signage there to let them know what's happening, and we'll invite them to be part of it.
Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell for notifications. And also make sure to connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. For all of your business news, visit businessjournaldaily.com. For all of your arts and entertainment news, go to afterhoursyoungstown.com.
Built for the 21st century American workforce, Eastern Gateway Community College has 2 campuses and is a national leader in online learning. EGCC.edu is a digital gateway where 30,000 students are quickly transforming their financial futures through degrees, certificates, transferable credits, and higher-paying jobs. And now, residents of the Mahoning Valley can enroll in summer classes for free. It's the EGCC Summer Guarantee. Eastern Gateway. America's new workforce starts here.